Watch this, check it out. So cool. The editing just on that little section is so satisfying. Ching, ching, all the sound effects kind of hitting right at those moments. This trailer is amazing. This is the new trailer for No One Will Save You, and yeah, it's great. The trailer has no dialogue whatsoever. This is a masterclass in editing. So I'm going to break down the editing of this trailer, why it's so good, some of the psychological elements they've used, reasoning behind the edit choices, and how you can implement those in your editing, whether you're cutting trailers or even social content, anything. Because how do you keep somebody hooked for 2 minutes with no dialogue whatsoever? This is a masterclass in how to do it. So let's start. If you haven't watched the trailer already, the link is in the show notes. Check out the trailer and you will love it. Let's watch from the beginning. Shout out to 20th Century Studios. Let's watch from the beginning, and we're gonna watch it in chunks, in long chunks, because with thriller trailers you have to like get into it. You have to get into the moment. You can't just show frame by frame, like we did last week with the Argyle trailer. So let's watch this through now. Great. That's great. I'm going to pause it there. Everything up to this point, watch the pacing, the timing of the shots. They're all very slow. This is a thriller trailer, so it's all in the audio. It's all in the sound design. But let's look at the waveform. Right? Check this out. There is very little happening. Look at this. Look how quiet it is here. There's dead silence here, quiet, dead silence, quiet, dead silence. And then so from this point onwards is when we start to get the action. We've got another quiet bit here, and then heavy section here. Let's go back and watch some of the shots. Just you'll get it. You'll see it very quickly. The pacing of the shots doesn't change. The timing at which it changes throughout the whole thing doesn't change. And that gives this sense of unease leading to something. Let's watch it back. That sound effect is beautiful. The drone in the background. And then we're taken out of that by a jump. Look at this spike here. There's a spike here, and there's a spike here. That's just so that it doesn't feel too monotonous. And look at all these other spikes. There's one here, there's one here, here, here. And so this is kind of typical trailer audio design. You want moments of quiet because they are accentuated. It means that the moments of loud are even louder. And so let's... you can see here, peak, peak, peak. That means that we will pay even more attention, and it holds our attention for even longer as we're going through that way. Let's continue watching. Notice how the music, we have the strings, the scary strings going, and then they stop. and we can hear her breath, but the anticipation is real, because what we've done, and we're going back to what I say all the time, is we're setting expectations and then we're breaking them. Look at this waveform here. This waveform, just this section, is almost the same the entire way. It very gradually goes up just at the end, which accentuates the silence, makes the silence more apparent. And what we're doing is we're setting the expectation here. We're having this drone, and then when it stops, we feel unease because we've got used to something and then it's taken away and it's complete silence. That's what gives this tension that is just palpable. And it makes that spin around as she looks all the more powerful. But the pacing, the shots, they're all the same still. Even though there's a lot of scary stuff going on, pacing of the cuts, very long. All the cuts are long. It's just the sound design that changes and quickens up the pace. Do you see? Still the same duration of shots, still slow. Notice how we faded to black, or cut to black there. And then we fade up from black. The editor has two choices there, because that would have been one shot. That they cut out the middle, so they needed to somehow bridge that gap. So either they would have to cut away to another shot in order to bridge that gap and show the previous shot of her hiding behind the bed and then going under the bed. There has to be a shot in between, or if we cut to black, we're getting the viewer to guess what's there, and that is often scarier than actually seeing something. So they've cut to black really, really well and used that as a motif, and it's fantastic. And the fade up makes it feel less jarring, like it doesn't feel like two separate shots that are separated by black. It feels like the black and this shot are kind of the same shot. And so we're cutting to black again, fading up, because black is scarier. Nothing is scarier than actually showing something. And you'll notice this in a lot of horror films as well. At the beginning, they won't even show what the scary thing is. And that's why we haven't seen it yet. We've just seen the shadow, because not knowing what it is more scary than actually seeing it. And so that's a really powerful technique that you can use in your edit if you want to give something more power. It could be not just in horror films, but it could be in other trailers. It could be in products as well. If you're just simply doing a product reveal, how about you don't actually show the whole product? You only show close-ups and tease, so you're never actually fully revealing what the whole thing looks like. That is how you keep people wanting to see, wanting to watch. The anticipation builds, and it's a fantastic tool that you can use in your editing. And notice how this section of Panic is all very loud. It's all together. The pacing of the edits is stronger. Every single shot that we're looking at has some kind of fierce action in it. The frames that they've chosen, so let's turn that slip off. The frames that they've chosen, flashing lights, loud, her fumbling, her hand movements are very fast. Even though they don't really have any connection to this shot, we're kind of just showing a passing of time, right? So her hands are fumbling here, flashing lights, craziness going on the TV screen. The TV screen has lots of high action. There's lots going on there. Every single shot has a lot going. Even if it's just a small contained area, there's fast action happening. And then we've broken the expectations again. We've kind of gone, okay, scary thing. Now let's break out of that and go into something else completely. And now we're kind of building up the context of everything that's happened, because you can't just have like scary stuff that we don't know what happens. We need to build some context into that. So that's the 5 W's: the who, what, when, where, and why. And that's kind of what they're building out here. So we open on the action. That's everything from where do we start? Where do we go to the phone? Here. So everything backwards from here, all of this is kind of like a cold open. High on the action, right in the middle, what the fuck's going on, and then we go and explain it. And that's typical in not only trailers, but you'll see it in YouTube videos, right? They open on the biggest action. They'll open on the most exciting thing. In documentaries, you might have a cold open where you are, the correspondent is dropped in a war zone, and you'll show the most crazy footage first, and then you kind of go, how do we get here? You'll see it all the time. So that's a cold open, and it's a very long one, just over a minute to get into it. And then we got the exposition, and you can see from here, you can see from the waveform, not a great deal of action happening, and then just here things get pretty rowdy. Lots of anticipation. Look at this waveform. It's almost like a straight line up in a nice, like, as all the sound effects build and build and build. And I really want to bring attention to this. Really satisfying sound design and shot choices to go in time with the music, tempo with the music. Now, if you saw the trailer breakdown for Argyle, which I did last week, you'll remember I said that they overused that motif and it got a bit boring, a bit samey. They haven't here. They've only used it in this section here, a bit here and a little bit here. And because of that, it makes it all the more powerful and more satisfying. Every single shot, every single sound effect, everything is to drive curiosity. Notice how everything from this point, it's all footage of things, moments that have happened after something. Let's watch that again with that in mind. We don't know the context. We only know what happens after the thing. And this is the footage that we're watching. Every shot is like, what the hell is going on? And that is how you can keep the viewer watching all the way through, even when there's no dialogue. Just curiosity, what the hell is going on in each shot? And that is super, super powerful. And one more thing I wanted to talk about is the waveform. Let's go back and look at this. I'm going to make this full screen because we don't actually need to see the video. Let's make this super big, make it even more apparent. and you'll notice we start at the top, kind of loud, we go down, all right? And then we're building up, down, building up, down. Look at these peaks and you'll see how we are driving the pace up and down. And it's kind of obvious how when you first start, you want to come in hot, bring it down, set some kind of expectation, some precedent, and then break it. And then we're kind of building the pace up and down, this kind of like this seesaw, this roller coaster of pace and emotion. This is what makes an edit exciting to watch. Just so happens that the waveform in this video, in this trailer, corresponds with the pace of everything that's happening on screen. And that is what you need in every single edit in order to make it interesting. You want this kind of roller coaster of pace. Now that could be movement, rhythm, or tone, but that is what you are looking for, this roller coaster of pace. And that is what makes this trailer so satisfying to watch. Don't forget to subscribe so you get a notification when we go live on the next breakdown of an edit. Thank you so much for watching.